वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्तुषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य प्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यत् अनुग्रहात् तरेन्नानामतग्रह व्याप्तं संसार सागरात् के ही न मानी सब तारे दास जय हो सो a quick background check or a revision. It would help Amit Prabhu also. So Amit Prabhu, we covered the verse number 12 where Krishna said that we are all eternals, even in the past, present, and future. There was never a time when we did not exist. That means me, you, all these kings assembled here, Sarve Vayamataha Param, we were always existing. Then Krishna told in verse number 13 that this body is changeable and the changes are from Kaumaravastha, that is when you are around 5 6 years old, then you become Yauvan, that means 16 17 18, the adulthood, Jara, that means old age, and then Tatha Dehantar. The correct word for Mrityu is Dehantar, death, means the change of body. Then Praptir, you'll get another body. And then Krishna says, Dhiras tatra na muhyati. You don't become so reckless and restless because of this change. It is principle and it is permanent. The body is temporary, but the change is permanent here. The only thing which is permanent is material world is change. So in verse number 14, Krishna says that because of these sensory perceptions, master sparshas, what happened? Sometimes you like heat, sometimes you like cold, sometimes similarly happiness and sorrow. Agamo, apaino, when they are present and when they are not present. There are certain times like these. So what should one should do? Tam titikshvasya. In all these conditions, just tolerate. Just follow the dharma and tolerate. Follow the dharma means currently Arjun is feeling very in a sorrow mode. Oh, I need to fight my relatives. But there were also some good times when Arjun was very happy. So this will come definitely in our life. Some good good times and bad times. But what one has to do, not be overwhelmed by so called happiness and not be so overgrieved by so much sorrowness. So what one should do, dhiraha, just remain a sober person and tolerate it. Titikshvasya bharataha, just tolerate it. Because in cold we like hot water, in heat we like cold water. The water is not changing, just the temperature is changing and our whole emotions are upside down. Then Krishna says that one who is not disturbed by these happiness and distress, all those changes, he is eligible for liberation. Oh, and for those people in verse number 16, those who are the seers of truth, tattva darshabhi, those who know everything, what is right, what is wrong, and what is absolute, they say that body is always changing and soul is always not changing. That means permanent. Then verse number 17, which we discussed in the last session, the soul was very clearly described that it is avinashi, that means imperishable, and what is yena sarvam idam tatam? By the consciousness, the soul is pervading in the entire body. Soul is near to the heart region, but the consciousness is pervading everywhere. So we discussed the five pranavayu, apanvayu, how the vayus are moving in the body, some little bit Ayurveda touch we had in the last session. And then we spoke about the consciousness as well. Like there are some people who have leprosy for those, and there are few people, not leprosy, paralysis. In the paralysis state, certain body parts are not moving. Some people are having complete full body paralysis, coma. So they are alive, but the consciousness is not active enough to make the body parts move. And then when the body is annihilated, the soul is not annihilated. So this is what Krishna told in verse number 17. In fact, he said that there is no one who can destroy the soul. That means the Mayavadis who say that the soul will become super soul, that it will merge in somewhere and then we will lose our identities. It's not true, because otherwise this imperishable entity, soul, will become perishable. Na? It is immutable. It will come later on. So today we'll be reading in verse number 18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antavat ime deha nityoshyuktaः शरीरिणः अनासिनो प्रमेयस्य tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Now Krishna is asking Arjun, Baba, you need to fight again. See, I told you the difference between body and soul. I gave you the complete knowledge of soul in verse number 17. Now I'll give you the complete knowledge of the body. He says, Antavat ime deha. So this is in plural. So Krishna is not saying your body or my body. Obviously, Krishna's body is eternal, always. But he's saying not just your body, all the people who are assembled here. Antavat. There is definitely an end to all these bodies. Nityosyuktaha sharirinaha. That means all those nitya jivas, that means the soul, all those jivas, jivatmas, who are living in this sharirinaha, in this body, that body, deha, antavat, will definitely come to the point of certain end. Anashino prameyasya. Therefore, you have to understand that this sharirinaha, this soul, is never going to be destroyed. Although he's particularly talking about body, but he's bringing back the point that soul is not destroyed. Anashinaha, it never gets destroyed. Tasmat, whenever this word tasmat comes, you see this tasmat, that means therefore. That means some knowledge is giving, now the action part is coming, or certain knowledge, further knowledge part can also come. But here the action part is coming. So Krishna has explained the knowledge. Now the Gyan is done. Now Vigyan is being told. Tasmat, therefore, Bharata, O Bharatvamshi, Arjun, Yuddhaswa, engage in the fight. Do not sit idle. Okay? Amit Prabhu, would you like to read the translation? Or Manhar Prabhu?
Sure,
Anyone
Prabhu.
can read. Yeah. Okay.
The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Hare Krishna.
So we have few words being used. Anashinaha means never. Nash जिसका नहीं होता. There is no destruction. Aprameyasya. So opposite of prameyasya is aprameyasya. That means you cannot actually calculate. Prameya means goal, and aprameya means that which cannot be defined. So immeasurable. And he says antavat means perishable. So these are very important words one can use while defining body and soul. So Srila Prabhupada, Manhar Prabhu, would you like to read few of the statements? Till killed you can read.
Wait, the purport or
Yes, the purport.
the material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There's no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot ever be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity as he is cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. The minute
Okay.
particle, okay. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. In
Okay,
the
Prabhu.
Vedanta Sutras,
Thank you. Yes. You have a very good flow of reading. Keep it up. Keep practicing. Good, Prabhu. Hmm. So this point, it is the matter or the question of time only. So two reasons. Soul cannot be killed and body is definitely going to finish. So why lament? But we see that we still lament. Anyway, why? Because we think we are body. This is the only thing. Nothing else. Because we measure everything based upon this body. We deal everything based upon this body. So everything is related to this body. Those possessions, we think that those things belong to me because of this body. So the problem is the body. No, the problem is not the body. The problem is bodily consciousness. Okay. Like this material nature is not the problem. The problem is the consciousness, the materialistic consciousness is the problem that we have to identify. Sometimes people, because of not understanding the philosophy correctly, tend to develop certain kind of hate towards the body and also towards those who are taking care of the body. For example, if you find some devotee who's trying to do some yoga, he's trying to do yoga to keep his body fit. Why? Because he want to serve nicely, not because he want to look attractive, have some six pack or whatever. And let's just assume this point. But still we feel like, so much bodily conscious personality. Arey Baba, the nature, the understanding can be something else. है ना? We have to take care of this body, but only for the matter of fact that we have to perform dharma from this body. That's it. Otherwise, you see, there are so many people who tend to eat all kinds of nonsense, and then they develop some kinds of diseases, and then they spend lots and lots of money and resources to get cured. And what do they do as soon as they are cured? Again, engage in that nonsense activities. For example, if a person who is very much addicted to alcohol, and we have seen the condition of how the people who drink alcohol, crazy. So when they consume these kinds of beverages that are under the term or the umbrella of intoxication, what happens to them, that is purely evident. But let's just assume that they developed some kind of disease. Then what they'll do? Oh no, now I cannot drink because I have liver psoriasis. So what should they do? Instead of temporarily just leaving the alcohol and developing a good habit, what they do, they just adopt this part as a kind of a ritual. And then they spend some money and resources, go here and there, this country, that country, to get that liver treated. And the very first thing which they do, because they have so much attachment to that taste of alcohol, that as soon as they are cured, the first thing they'll do is drink alcohol again. This is the problem. So the consciousness, the contaminated consciousness is the problem, not the person, the soul. That person is not the problem. We tend to dislike or hate someone because we don't understand the root problem of that person. है ना? I don't like that devotee, Prabhuji. Certain complaints made by devotees. I don't like that devotee. So you're calling him a devotee and you don't like it, then who are you? Asur or someone else? You need to understand, na? So it is like lip service, calling someone devotee and then saying, I don't like you. But then who are you going to like? Some buffalo on the road? No, you have to like, and you have to understand, you have to appreciate and coexist among the devotee community anyhow. Otherwise, where you will go? Everyone is just trying to cheat you only. Oh no, Broji, that devotee is trying to cheat me. Acha, he's also a devotee and then trying to cheat you. So these are the basic laws of common sense that we use in daily conversations, especially for those who are surrounded by aparadhas. And so we have to be very careful. And then we tend to lament. That is why Prabhupada is saying, soul will never die. It is so minute. The enemy cannot even kill it, cannot see it. What about killing it? The body is definitely going to perish. So both the viewpoints are saying no need to lament. है ना? Then Srila Prabhupada is making a statement here that we need to understand. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body. That means the soul acquires this material body according to his work. That means Karmana Daiva Naitrena. This is the teachings of Rishabdev from Srimad Bhagavatam. That we acquire this body not because of some chance that one became the son of Ambani or the son of any other prominent figure, some actor, actress, someone who is very rich, very famous, and someone took birth in a hospital, and because of the lack of facilities, he died. That child died. So it is just not some chance. It is because of the law of karma. So whatever pious or impious deeds we perform here, it results into certain kinds of actions, and that is why we have this kind of body. For example, I took birth in Lucknow. So I must have done something which made me take birth in the province of Lucknow. That's it. So now Srila Prabhupada also uses the term, therefore, observance of the religious principle should be utilized. That means the dharma point is never being left out in the conversation. The body is meant to be engaged in the cultivation of dharma and the actions which leads to the rise of dharma. Nothing else. Okay. Now, in the Vedanta Sutras, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. So, in the last lecture, I explained the example of fire, sunlight, and many other things. Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetananam. This verse also I explained, this mantra. So, I'll not just repeat it again. And the same thing is being explained by Srila Prabhupada once again. Now, Srila Prabhupada said the body itself is unimportant. That means the body itself means without the presence of soul. It is just a lump of matter, nothing else. Jada is called a Jada Deha. But this Jada Deha acts as Chetana because of Chaitanyata, or you have soul in this body. That is why this body is reacting. As soon as the soul leaves, the body is completely useless. There is a story by Hiranyakashipu in Srimad Bhagavatam who talks about a king who died and there were queens crying next to him. They were not ready to perform the Antim Sanskar of that king. So Yamraj took the role of a boy. I think I explained this story. And then he gave some hard-hitting facts that after some time you are not going to tolerate the, bad odor that will come from this body. So it is better to be sane enough and do the right work as per the dharma. So the body itself is unimportant, but it is important. Itself it is unimportant, but currently it is important. You have to perform dharmic activities. Arjun was advised to fight and not to sacrifice the cause of religion for material and bodily considerations. So this is the only reason. Arjun was in the mood of material and bodily consideration. That is why he was not able to see the higher cause. Jiva like me, you and everyone, how is it possible that even after listening and understanding, after chanting, associating, so many things, we tend to drive away from the path of dharma because we are very much inclined, artificially inclined to follow the path of material and bodily consideration. That's it. I don't want to wake up for Mangal Aarti. Why? Because bodily and material considerations. I don't want to chant. Why? Material bodily considerations. Some Harikatha going on, I'll not go there. Instead, I'll spend my time on Instagram and what other nonsense. Why? Because of material bodily considerations. So this is the root cause. This material bodily considerations. And these are considerations. These are not even real challenge. We consider them as real challenge. That is the problem. Okay. So we'll see what Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur Mahasaya is saying in these terms. It's a very simple commentary where it is. Na asato vidyate bhava ityasyartham spashtayati antavat iti. So the verse number 16 was talking about na asat and na asat. Sat, that is body and soul. So na sat bhava was explained in the previous verse. Na asat bhava is being explained here in lighter terms. The soul was mentioned properly in the previous verse. The body is properly being, or in detail, is being mentioned here. And how we can understand this? Spashtayati in clear terms by the term antavata. So by this term we can understand. Now he says, Sharirino jivasya prameyasya ati sukshmatva duranyesya. So he's saying the soul, it is ati sukshma. What happened to screen share? One moment, one moment. Okay, I hope it is visible now. So it says,
Not yet, though.
Shari, not yet visible?
Yes, now it is visible.
Okay, okay, thank you. So he says, the jiva and the body, they both have the natures of, like, the soul is, jiva is eternal and the body is indestructible. So for both the matters, that means for the jiva and for the body, the lamentation part is not worthy. And then very amazing point is being told here. He says, therefore you should fight. See, clearly he's saying, tasmad yuddhasva iti shastra vihitasya swadharmasya tyago anuchit iti bhava. Giving up your dharma, which is prescribed in the scriptures, shastra vihitasya, prescribed by scriptures, swadharmasya, your duty. Swadharma means your duty or your swabhavik duty. That means he's a Kshatriya, he has to fight against adharma. So, tyago anuchit, it is not correct. So, Krishna is saying that whatever you are doing is anuchit, completely wrong. So, whatever swabhav we have, it is as per Brahmanikal swabhav, Kshatriya swabhava, Vaishya swabhava, Shudra swabhava. We should act in that way. We should not be lazy. In the further commentaries in this Bhagavad Gita, we'll find a very nice verse which is being quoted by many speakers, which says that even in the path of bhakti or in the yoga process, even if you become yoga bhrashta, that means you forgot your path, then don't worry. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta Jayate. This verse will come later in 6th chapter, if I'm not wrong. So, even if you get lost in the path of yoga, don't worry. You will take next birth in the fam of very highly learned Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, or aristocratic wealthy people. But this verse is giving hope, but it is a caution also. What is the caution here? Why one becomes yoga bhrashta? Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur very clearly says. Please hear me very carefully. Why one deviates from the path of yoga? For example, we are all practicing bhakti yoga somehow or the possible. Like we are wearing tilak and all these also bhakti. Applying urdhva pundra is bhakti. So why we will deviate from this path? This is a very important question because many of us have already been deviated, but many of us will get deviated if we are not lazy. This is the term which is used by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Slackness, ये ढीलापन नहीं चलने वाला. Just because there are many verses telling the glories of bhakti, telling the glories of the merciful stand of the Lord for his devotees, does not mean that we'll become lazy. Okay. So that same thing Krishna is saying to Arjun, don't be lazy, fight. Whatever is meant for you to do, you do as per scriptures, not as per your own whimsical nature. For example, currently the world is in so much chaos, it will always remain in chaos. But if the devotees tend to go into that chaos and make sure they identify with those chaos nature, they are gone, lost it. They are completely lost it because they are lazy in practicing bhakti. That is why they are being engaged here and there. Okay. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu says, Antvat vinashi swabhavaha sharirno jivatmanaha. So he is just creating a distinction that the bodies are antavat and the possessor of the body, that is Jiva, is sharirna. He is eternal. And you know, अप्रमेयस्यादि सूक्ष्मत्वाद् विज्ञान विज्ञातृ स्वरूपतच्चाच्च प्रमातुम् अशक्यस्येह अर्थः अशक्यस्येत्यर्थः अशक्यति मतलब it is not possible to actually calculate, the swarup, because it is aprameya. The soul is so sukshma, it is so subtle. Just imagine 10,000 division of the tip of the hair. How can one even just imagine it? Only we can imagine it only actually. To calculate such a small thing, it is not possible. Now one may have the trust of science, maybe some instrument will come which will be able to do it. But the soul is made up of is completely spiritual in nature. Would that instrument be capable enough to identify spiritual objects? Never. So even in the material concepts, one cannot do so. So Vijnana Vijnatri Swarupatvacha. So it is not possible actually. Some material methods makes make some instrument or do it is that thing is not there. And then this line by Srila Vishwan Shakti Thakur, I'll just fast forward it. तथा चेद्रशासो आदित्या जीव देहु न शोकम स्थानम इति जीवात्मो देहो धनुस्थानम. हाँ, this line. जीवात्मनः देहः धर्मानुष्ठान द्वार तस्य भोगाय मोक्षाय च. That means for bhog and moksha, both doors, dwar, can be provided by dharma anushtan. Okay. Sacha Sacha dharmena bhavet tasmad yuddhasya bharata. So I'll just stop the screen here so that I may get the focus. See, he's saying, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, that the doors for bhukti and mukti both can be attained by this body only. But it should be as per scriptures. Even bhog should be done as per scriptures. Currently, whatever bhog people are doing is anti-scriptural bhog. That is why their life is animalistic. Just I'll tell you a simple example how people are not even able to enjoy life. We think we are enjoying life, but we are not even properly enjoying life. So we'll buy some vegetables, which is obviously not pure, not grown in proper farms. And they use very dirty water, pesticides to make sure the seeds are fructified, and then you have some kind of fruits and vegetables. So already artificial. And we are drinking mango shake. Just just hear properly how much pathetic condition we are currently in. So that vegetable itself, so I'm talking about vegetarians only. I'll not go to non-veg, that is already pathetic. So this vegetable processed, fertilized, chemically created, it comes to your house. And then what is the first thing that we do? Keep the vegetable in the fridge. We don't use fresh vegetables because nowadays, see, even in our Bharat Varsha, the vegetable vendors used to come in front of the street. Now we use Blinkit or some other applications so that it is delivered to the home itself. Or we go to the mall and buy vegetables. So the vegetables are already inside the fridge. That means they are not fresh. So old vegetables. Then you are bringing it at home. Hey, I just by vegetable, I remembered something. I don't know when I went last time to a very big shopping complex or a mall, but I found chopped vegetables, readily chopped vegetables in the aisle. And I was just thinking, how can someone be so lazy to even cut the vegetables? Currently, I think Aditi Mata is cutting vegetables only. So, how can someone be so lazy or not having even the talent or skill to cut vegetable that you have to buy chopped vegetable? How can you be so busy? The cooking requires personalism. Otherwise, everything you put it into machine, what is the use of a human touch? Because food carries consciousness. So it has to be made with love and care. That is why Krishna says, Tad ashnami priyatatmanaha. I take by love. I accept it by love. That will come in Bhagavad Gita chapter number 9, towards the end verses. So you brought that chopped vegetables from the market, and then all the masalas made with chemicals. We can't even make our masalas at home. Fortunately, my mother taught me, so I know some little bit of knowledge. So you get those chemically treated masalas, है ना? And then you try to make a vegetable. And what you will do? You'll not eat on time. You prepared it 7 p.m. and you'll eat at 11 p.m. Why? Because you have so much work, so busy. So you'll eat at wrong time also, not fresh, chemically processed, fertilized, and then pesticides, not fertilized, pesticides, and then you'll eat at late at night. And what will be remaining, you'll keep again in fridge and eat tomorrow morning. Nice. We are not doing bhog even properly. Forget about bhakti and mukti. We are not able to do proper enjoyment in this life. ये हमारा भोग है इतना घटिया. Not even third class. He's like in 10th or 12th class. What? Not even gradable. So here Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu is saying the bhukti marg, the mukti marg, both the path for liberation and enjoyment. This body is the instrument or the dwar or the door to access that. But what it should be, please see this word very carefully once again. Dharmanusthana. It should be the अनुष्ठान of dharma. ऐसा नहीं कभी भी कुछ भी कर लो. It should be done by the अनुष्ठान or the execution of dharma. Therefore, now again tasmad. See, Krishna is saying tasmad, so everyone is tasmad yuddhasya bharata. You fight. Sacha dharmena bhavet. Now you have to do dharma only. This is what is being told. Okay. So now we'll go to the next verse. So the next verse, verse number 19. य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ नाविजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. So he's saying, Yaha, anyone, enam vitti hantaram, anyone who understands this point, veti, or understands or knows, hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhau tau na vigyanito. That means anyone who thinks that the living entity, है ना? Okay, we can read the translation directly. Anyone would like to read the translation? Because it's like repeating. Aditi Mataji would like to read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Um, Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain.
Oh, wow. Such a difficult translation, na? I hope anyone would be able to explain it very nicely. Anyway, we'll go. Okay, we'll understand. So, what Prabhupada is trying to say, because sometimes the words of Bhagavad Gita are very cryptic, and sometimes Srila Prabhupada is obviously showing mercy, but we are not so intelligent enough to understand what is being told. Saying anyone who thinks that the living entity, I'll just tell it in a very simple way. Anyone who thinks that if someone dies, then we think that Atma died. along with the body. So those people are not in knowledge. But for those who thinks that the living entity is not dying, but the body is dying, that person is in knowledge. And for the self slays, nor is slain. That means the body dies, not the Atma. It's a very easy understanding. Sometimes we have to have good knowledge of grammar also, even in English. Anyway, the reality is nowadays people don't even know English. They learned it from watching Hollywood movies. Maybe mostly it is because of the interaction with the people who are speaking English next to them. They also don't know grammar. But nowadays the grammar part is being neglected very badly. What to do? So the purport, who would like to read? The Kuntrivasini Mataji would like to read, or Archeshita. Let's take new names. Vaikunt Nivasini Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna
Purport.
Prabhuji, Pranam. Uh, Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as will evident from subsequent verses, nor is the living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed or is supposed to be killed is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is mam second Prabhuji, Mam Himsyat Sarva Bhutani. Never commit
Hmm.
violence against anyone, nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of the state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjuna's, however, is being engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So Srila Prabhupada is clearly saying that the encouragement of killing is not being like advertised. Like, there is no killer because one who is killing, he is not the killer. One who is being killed is actually not being killed. So, do whatever you like. It is not like that. Ma himsayat sarva bhutani. This is being quoted by Sripad Ramanujacharya and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu also. Although the source is not mentioned, but the similar verses are being found in Mahabharata. So, ma himsayat sarva bhutani. Do not commit violence to anyone. So, at what point it should be considered a sin and what point it should be considered dharma, that we'll understand in this verse today. So Srila Prabhupada saying killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and it is punishable by the law of the state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjun, however, be engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically. This is the main point. It is not being done whimsically. Enam vetti. So we'll see what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Bho vayasya Arjuna tvam atma. Oh Arjun, you are Atma. Na hante karta, napi hante karma ityaha ya iti. That means na hante karta, the one who kills. Hantaha means the one who is killing. He is also not to be blamed. And one who is being killed, he is not also to be blamed. And anyone who thinks like this, like anyone who thinks enam जीवात्मानं hantaram vetti, anyone who thinks भीष्मादिम अर्जुनो हन्तेति यो वेत्तेति अर्था हतमिति भीष्मादिभिर अर्जुनो हन्यति इति यो वेत्ति तावुभाव अपि अज्ञानिनो. That means anyone who is vetti thinks that the jeev is the killer. For example, now he is giving example of Arjun and Bhishma. So Arjun is the killer of Bhishma and others, or the opposite. The Jeev is being killed. That means Arjun is being killed by Bhishma. They are both Agyani, ignorant. No one is killing anyone. Hari Baba, what kind of logic is this? That is true. That is the nature. Soul maar nahi sakta, soul mar nahi sakta, then who is the killer? Who is being killed? So if we'll connect this verse to the plead made by the Arjun in the first chapter. What was that? If how can I kill my Guru Janas, Bhishma and others? It is better that I get killed by Bhishma and others. These two statements were made by Arjun. So that is being counted here. That if we consider two cases, Arjun killing Bhishma and others, or the another statement, Arjun is being killed by Bhishma and others. Anyone who considers these two facts to be true is ignorant. Anyone who is thinking like this. Therefore, again, therefore, ato, ataha, therefore, Arjun, ayam guru janam hantyetya jnani loka gita duryashaha kate bhitiriti bhavaha. So, Krishna is asking, Bhiti, what is your fear? Because Arjun was saying, na, अरे बहुत infamy आएगा. Then what is your fear of infamy? Because, see, here the term agyan and gyan, like hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhay vijanito. That means those people who are intelligent. Okay? So those people who are intelligent, they know that soul is not the killer and soul does not get killed. So Krishna is saying, जो मूर्ख होते हैं ना अज्ञानी जन, they will only accuse you, हाँ तुमने देखो अपने तो परिवारों को भी मार दिया. You killed your own kinsmen, family members, relatives, elders, gurus. But you are not the killer. So Krishna is saying, then why give so much importance to those who are stupid? Simple. So by this statements from this verse, Krishna is saying, if you engage in this war and kill Bhishma and others, you will not get infamy because they'll not die, they'll get another body. Baba. But something has to be answered properly. Now we'll go to the commentary, screen sharing. We'll go to the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. He says, it's a small commentary only, but very important. Uktam avinashitvam dradhayati. He says, in this verse, Krishna is completely confirming that the nature of the soul is indestructible. See, it is being repeated. If something is being repeated, means it is very important. Soul is eternal, body is perishable. Soul is eternal, body is perishable. So Krishna is once again confirming soul is indestructible. And what else? Enam, by this word enam, ukta sambhavam atmanam jivam yo hantaram khadagadina himsakam veti. Khadaga means sword. Yash chainam tena hatam himsitam manyate tavobhav tat swarupam na vijanitaha. So he's saying, a person who thinks that the jeev, who is actually like eternal, है ना? And he is the having the nature of killing someone. If he takes some kind of sword or any instrument or weapon, and he thinks that a jiva or someone else is harmed by this sword, is actually ajnani, because the sword cannot do such things to the atma. Ati sukshmasya chaitanyasya tasya chedyad asambhavan. The soul is ati sukshma chaitan, therefore that chedadi asambhavan. To harm the soul which is so subtle, it is asambhav. Nayamatma hante na hanyate hante. So by this verse which will come in future, you will understand that the soul cannot be cut by the sword. है ना? So this verse will come very soon. Hanter deha viyogarthatvan na tenatmanam nasho mantavya. So now a Shruti is being quoted. Shrutischaivam maha hanta chen manyate hantum hantaschen manyate hatam. The further is ubhau tau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. So this is from Kathopanishad 1 to 19 mantra. So Shruti is saying hanta chen manyate hantum. If the killer thinks that he kills, or the opposite, hataschen manyate hatam, or the killed person thinks that he has been killed. So the whole mantra is not given. I'll tell the whole answer. Ubhau tau na vijanito. So this mantra is very similar to this verse. These two people who thinks that when the killer thinks that he kills, or the killed thinks that he has been killed, Ubhau tau na vijanito. These people do not know the nature of the soul. Nayam hanti na hanyate. Because he does not know, then neither he does not kill or get killed. So it is very simple. And then the same statement which is Prabhupada is quoting, Etena mahimsayat sarvabhutani iti adin vakyam deha viyoga param vyakhyatam. So he's saying by quoting such statements, the violence is explained as violence concerning the separation of Atma from body. The statement Deha viyojana tattasya sattvat. So he's saying if by our actions the body and the Atma are getting separated, है ना? It does not prove that Atma is the killer because Atma cannot be neither killed nor it can kill someone. But we have to understand how to take this knowledge practically because everyone will become killer. So the main point which is being repeated again and again and again is the action should be committed as per dharma. So Arjun, who will act as per dharma, will kill his relatives who are as per bodily consciousness relatives because those are adharmis or those who are standing with the adharmis. Those who are standing with the adharmis are also counted among the adharmis, no matter whatever noble cause they have. है ना? So someone might say, for example, some protests are going currently everywhere. So they are saying, oh, no, no, the protest is correct. Maybe the people may be bad, but the intention is right. Sir, sorry, Dharma says if the people are wrong, whatever actions they do is not to be supported. है ना? Because ultimately they have the consciousness to do something adharma, which was evident also. So, but this basic understanding, because people don't actually read scriptures or they have given their heart and soul to social media, that is why they are not able to think properly what is right and what is wrong. See, if someone is bad and we say this person should not be given responsibility because that person is bad, and by telling this I abuse that person, so where is my credibility? For example, I go to my elders to tell about a very serious concern, and the way I convey is very adharmic, then it is not correct. The conveying also has to be done in the Dharma Shastra way. So we all have to follow Dharma anyhow. It is not some option, it is the necessity. I gave you the example, even the enjoyment is not being done properly. So by these two verses, we are actually understanding that just understanding that I am not this body, I am soul, soul cannot be killed. Are Baba, these are the statements to actually make you follow dharma. Because there is some kind of accusation, I'll not say the word, I'll say some narrative that, oh, Srila Prabhupada has given very basic. He always talks about body, soul, body, soul, body, soul. Such statements are actually aparad against Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Let me be very clear about it. Srila Prabhupada has given basic, intermediate, advanced, and beyond advanced knowledge. Let's not limit the knowledge given by Srila Prabhupada by our whimsical and limited vision. Because we have heard only hardly 100 or maybe 50 lectures of Srila Prabhupada and we are convinced हाँ बड़ा बेसिक ही बताते रहते हैं, we haven't read him properly, we have no connection with our yoga acharya. So we have to be very careful with what we speak. Whatever is coming out from our mouth can have consequences. Even we say truth, it will have some consequence. Even if we say a lie, it will definitely have some consequence. So we have to be very careful with our actions, with our thoughts, with our speech. That's what make us human. If you are acting randomly as per, oh, nahi, I am like that, Prabhu. This is not the solution. You have to change, you have to adapt the right path. This is dharma. It is not option, it is necessity. Because if one is not following dharma, dharmena hina pashubhi samana. He is actually animal. See, Four things are very common between animals and human. So this verse comes in Hitopadesha. Hit Upadesha. These things should be taught in school. I don't know what is happening with our education system. Then that is why you get so many students committing suicide, students doing violence, students abusing on social media. Why? Because they don't know anything about dharma. है ना? And unfortunately, those who teach about dharma are also not reading about dharma. A sadhu who is not a preacher, or a sadhu who is not, especially the preacher who is not doing swadhyay, is cheating. He should do swadhyay. 3 4 hours of reading has to be done. Otherwise, with what face and what consciousness are you going to address the audience? One has to read. If you are not prepared, take time. At least if you are giving a 1 hour lecture, you have to prepare at least 1 hour. This is minimum. You have to justify the time of those who are listening. है ना? It's not be चलो खोलो जो भी आता है बोल देंगे. Speaking up Siddhant is the greatest sin, even greater than cow slaughter. One has to be very careful what comes from my mouth, what I hear, whom I associate with, है ना? What ideas are we exchanging? On what topics do I laugh? On what topics do I get sad? For example, some kind of joke which is having abusive words. I am very happy with those words. Definitely, it clearly says that our consciousness is very low because we are laughing on abuses. Now, see, uh, I'll just say this one statement. It is very important because we are living in this world and we are dealing with all those things. Please hear this very carefully. Comic or comedy. This is hasya rasa. It is given in Shastra. Currently, it is being done in very different ways. So, this hasya or the comic has to be done in a very responsible manner. So either you tone up or tone down. That means either you make fun of those people who are above you, like you can make fun of big businessmen, politicians, है ना? So people will relate to it. हाँ वो लोग तो ऐसे ही हैं. Or you tone down or joke down. That means you make fun of those people who are not privileged. For example, a person who is having a very abominable disease, or for example having paralysis, if you are making fun of that person, it looks nice, but you are developing a habit. See, people might call me orthodox or whatever, anyway, but if you are making fun of people who are not having power, that means you are developing a habit to do this even in regular life. Everything matters. What you speak, what you see, what you smell, what you touch, what you hear, whom do you associate with, on what ideas are you laughing, on what ideas you are becoming sorrow. In spiritual subject matters, you are getting sleepy, but in material subject matters, immediately you are very active. So you have to know your own condition and then try to improve it. By these dharmic signals, you have to help yourself. है ना? So the reason Krishna is speaking all those things is to engage Arjun into dharmic activities. Okay? Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful session, Prabhu. Today again with the chapter 2, verse 18 and 19. I'm requesting you, all the devotees, if you have any questions or realization or any kind of wordings to say, please raise your hand and unmute yourself. Thank you.
It was a simple pravachan, no technical details today.
Hemu Mataji.
Danvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As usual, beautiful lecture. I have a question on, okay, you have to be as neutral as possible.
Okay.
And we are all very material. And what I'm trying to ask you is, if someone says something, then you get hurt, and you should be like the hot and the cold. You shouldn't let anything affect you. But um, at the same time, I'm thinking Arjun and them went through so much that everything got taken away. They were in the jungle, etc., etc. And still, Krishna said, go ahead and fight for your right. What is our right? Should we, I'm not saying fight, but should we stand up for our right? Or when is the right thing to do? Because to be neutral, you can take things to, you can tolerate certain amount, and then for us it gets too much for the toleration. So how do we go about it?
Okay, so it's a very practical question. Thank you, Mataji. Once again, your questions are always practical, and you ask questions for yourself. This is actually the way to ask question, है ना? So see, Mataji, first thing, I am getting disturbed by some external activity or person. Okay, is
Yes.
that is that disturbance material or spiritual? So there is a simple answer. It is material disturbance.
Yes.
There is no spiritual disturbance. I have an example of spiritual disturbance. Something came in my mind. So all the senior devotees, somehow I get very fortunate that I end up among all the very senior Vaishnavas, and I'm the only junior most there. It has happened many times. So all the temple presidents, regional secretaries, they were all next to Govind Kund chanting along with His Holiness Bhakti Priyar Bhagavad Swami Maharaj. I was the junior most there, sitting next to Maharaj, and we were chanting, seeing the Govardhan, seeing his beautiful darshan. And suddenly, few Brajvasi kids they jumped from the top and went into the Kund, and everyone was disturbed. So just to make sure that all those people who are chanting do not commit even a mansik aparad towards those Brajvasis who were doing their regular duty of taking bath in the Govind Kund. Maharaj said, this is Brajvasi transcendental distraction. Don't worry. So there are some spiritual distractions. Anyway, so first thing we need to understand is that distractions are all material. I am getting disturbed is because I am not strong enough to deal with them. Third, we need to understand that why only I am getting affected by it. It could have happened to anyone. Why I am only the receiver of this problem? These three questions itself will tell you what to do next. And if you don't get the answer what to do next, refer scriptures. If there is a problem in referring to the scripture, then do what Arjun did. Take shelter of a bona fide guru. Any senior Vaishnava who can guide you by the laws of the scriptures how to tackle that particular situation. See, one thing, Himataji, because you are elder to me, you have seen life in this body more than me. One thing you can answer better than me is when time flies, things change. The problems which were like a mountain Everest at that time are hardly like kind of negligible for now. And now a different problem is becoming a Mount Everest. For example, I'll just give my opinion. When as kids we are in 10th standard, the board exams are like Mountain Everest. The first thing which children do after giving the exams of 10 boards are throw away their copies. They don't want those copies again. See, this is the worst situation of our education system. But I'm just telling you, the board exam is like Mountain Everest. Then slowly they'll pass the 11th standard and they'll come to the 12th center. Oh, one more Mountain Everest is being built up. But are they worried about the 10th certificate? No. They'll cross that, then they'll do graduation, then earn another certificate, another Mountain Everest, those exam semesters. But will they think about the 12th certificate or 10th certificate? For example, I am postgraduate, double masters. If I go to a job, I'll definitely not go. But if I go, even the interviewer is not bothered to ask how much I have achieved in my 10th, 11th, 12th, and graduation. He'll ask only the latest one. And if I am experienced in knowledge, some kind of knowledge field work area, some work experience, he'll not even ask. He'll just ask, "Are you postgraduate?" "Huh, done." "Okay, how much experience?" So the world is not bothered. It is completely changing all the time.
Mhm.
So take help of scriptures. First three questions which I told you to do so. First ask those. Then take help of scriptures. Not possible. The shelter of a bona fide guru and Vaishnavas is definitely the solution. Which Arjun did. He is teaching us by example. है ना?
Yes,
Dharma, remain at dharma. So much happened with the Pandavas, but they never left Krishna.
yes, yes.
See, we even if I'll be very honest, if I would have been in the place of Arjuna and if they would have told me, see, Narayani, Chaturangi Sena and Krishna will not fight. Whom will you choose? I'll definitely say Narayani, Chaturangi Sena because I know I don't have faith on Krishna's words enough. I mean pathetic than Duryodhana. But Arjun never left Krishna. Analytically, you see the Chaturangi Narayani Sena is important. But he went by his heart. He loved Krishna more than hundreds and crores of those Chaturangi Narayani Sena. That's love which made him victorious, which does not made him victorious. He was ever victorious. See, in material life, there would be ups and downs. Forget it. But if Krishna is with you, you are always victorious. You do not become special. You are always special. This is the thing. Okay.
That I have experienced a lot in my life.
See,
It's
then you should
a
bless
lot
us.
of experiences. He's been very kind to me. He will not let me go.
Good
Yes,
one.
yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Done for now.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. I don't see any other hand raised. Prabhu, I have a quick question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
When you said that we are even not relishing or not cherishing or not enjoying our lives, and you had given example of fruits, vegetables, and leftover and everything, Prabhu. That is very common these days, Prabhu. Okay, not even India. In US, it is more common than India, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
used to
everything is
go to
processed.
yes,
Everything is
everything is
frozen.
processed, and we have to do that. We have to live with that. We don't have any other choice also to. So in that case, how as a human being means specifically if I talk about me, like I am not that much on a spiritual ladder also. So how I can enjoy my life, because I'm in IT sector, so IT sector is like much more like a Mount Everest for us these days, right? I'm on visa, so visa is another problem. So I just want to understand from this, whatever you said, how do we can at least make at least like bare minimum enjoy our life, not to the
Okay.
fullest.
So very simple. The scriptures talks about the Varnashrama Dharma. Okay.
Correct.
So we have four Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So the Brahmanas, they live by charity. They have their own responsibilities. Then Kshatriyas, they live by Karagrahana. That means by tax, collecting tax, they live by tax. And then they have to provide security, safety for all the other three. The Vaishya, they live by profit.
Oh,
And
business
The Shudras, they live by maintenance. Salary is maintenance.
maintenance, right?
So till the time we are stuck with this loop of maintenance and salary, we have to face the consequences of living like a Shudra, unfortunately. So we have to raise our standards as per our swabhava. We can do so much more. So if we increase our standards as per our sabhava, or if our sabhava is like that, then what can we do? Sorry for this straightforward answers, but it is the reality. So now coming to the practicality. So I talked about the sabhava and the corporate job life. My sister-in-law, she's a national cricketer. So she's also very busy, continuously traveling, playing so many things. What she does is, whenever she is having little bit of time, not whenever, actually, she has developed a habit. Regularly, she'll try to grow tomatoes, mirchi, and that means chili, and few other vegetables on the roof. something grown from their own hands.
Mm.
And trust me, I have tasted that it is 150 times better than the tomatoes available in the market. So see what you can grow. Baba, when you nurture a plant, and just take for example a tomato plant, and the amount of energy and love and care and attention that plant requires, and suddenly it will develop a small bud, and then it will become a fruit. That attachment, that love towards that very small plant having so low consciousness, still you develop so much affection to that plant because you are nurturing and caring it. And then when tomato grows and you pluck it out, you cut it into a very nice salad, put some salt, some lemon and chili next to it, and offered it to Krishna. See, this is the first class offering I am trying to give it to you. Trust me, that will increase your health 10 times by what you are doing it now. See, ultimately, we have to move towards this Varnashram concept anyhow. If now it is not possible, think it about in future, but plan it now. If you think it like, हाँ ये तो बाद में जब retirement होगा, then I'll think it, then never, it will never happen. You have to plan it now. Slowly, slowly, you have to shift it somehow. See, I'll tell you, $50,000 and a living a life of hell is not good, but earning $20,000 with not so good clothes, not so better equipments, but living a life of peace is still
Much
better.
better.
But we have forgotten this in the rat race. What to do? So much maintenance, so many demands from the wife, kids, society, neighbors. What to do? We are forced into this trap. So it is not just an individual change. It is a collective change of whole society because Varna Ashram is a societal change. It is not just institutional change also. It is whole society coming together and following something. But it has to start obviously from an individual level. है ना? Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful answer. Uh, I think there is no hand raised.
Yeah, we can
You want to
conclude.
ask something? Just a second, Prabhu. Just a second.
Bhumika?
So, Prabhu, she is asking that how can we prevent this mountain of just a second to speak mountain of problems to overwhelm us. So how can we prevent ourselves from like a mountain of Everest to overwhelm us?
By knowing that it is not the Mount Everest of problems.
There are way more.
Because you'll know once you pass the examinations, you'll not worry about it. So the examination is just kind of a checkpoint. That examination, that certificate will not define your character, but how you behave, how you become. Obviously, that certificate is still needed in this pathetic world, but still your character, your behavior, it will matter more. 90% of jobs are today because of communication, not because of skills. This
Yes,
communication skill is more important.
right.
है ना?
Got it. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Prabhu. Thank you. So I think no hand is raised, so we can, if you like, give a permission,
One,
we can write
one
right this.
example, one example to Mika. For example, if there is a snake bite, there is a proper scientific study that 56% of people die early
Alright.
just because thinking that the snake bite happened. Oh, सांप ने काटा, सांप ने काटा. And they'll not think of going to the doctor, going to the hospital, calling someone important, even remembering what kind of snake has bit me. Because if you remember that snake, there are certain anti-venoms based upon the venom in the snake. But this will not work. You'll be like, oh, सांप ने काटा, and then you'll die. है ना? So worrying about the problem is never the solution. Acting on the solution, that you have to do. Okay, so this is a small example which came into the mind. We make it Mount Everest. It is not never a Mount Everest. Okay, Prabhu, you may
Okay,
now
Prabhu.
conclude.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Prabhu.
everyone.
So thank you very much for the wonderful session and question answers. and yes, give us the nectar of journey through Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu. Thank you very much for your wonderful session. And I think we should conclude over here. Vancha kalturvishya kapa sindhu bhayivche patita nam pavnebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaः. His Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Shant Gopinath Prabhu ji ki jai, Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna. See you next week.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.